Wakanda forever. And I mean ever and ever. I sure would. It's the pollinator. And it's vote day 2018. It's midterm elections today. And I waited intentionally until this day to take a stand at the voting polls. Yesterday, I got an email from the NAACP saying that our Secretary of State, Kemp, got busted tampering with the early voting. And I saw all of that stuff in the beginning and just did not want to take a chance that something would happen to my vote. Of course, a lot of people were very excited and went out and voted early, but I decided to wait until today so that there would be no confusion and that I wouldn't feel duped at the end of it. Of course, he's claiming there is no proof that he was gerrymandering or suppressing the vote, the black vote in Georgia, but everybody who lives here has seen a lot of information coming through here, a lot of TV commercials and whatnot, claiming that, you know, that man was messing with the vote here in mostly black counties. And of course, there is a very large number of black people in this area, but the ones he was messing with had, you know, tens of thousands of people in them. So I waited. Anyway, this video is nothing about this. This one is about a VA intern training that I got to do, participate in with two black doctors, female doctors. One of them was the best therapist I've ever had in my life, and the other one is a doctor that works with patients, clients, and is one of the LGBT coordinators of the VA in this area. And I don't know why I never made a vlog about that. You know, there was a lot of things going on at the time. I was ending my relationship with that therapist. I had just done a seminar that I hadn't done in 25 years, 26 years. I always get that a little wrong, how many years really passed, but the last time I had participated in that seminar was a year after my mother passed, which was 93, so I did it again in 94. I was no longer doing public speaking for that business after she passed in 93, but I did go back and repeat the first seminar of the curriculum for living for Landmark Education, which was the forum. And there was just a lot going on in August, and I was preparing for this eye surgery that I had in September. So I just that just fell out, even though it was very exciting. And to be a part of the solution to the maltreatment of transgender veterans in the United States. You know, I have dedicated all of my adulthood to making a difference in this country, whether I'm touching one person, whether I'm touching multiple people, whether I'm touching large groups of people. I have been doing things on and off throughout my life that has just been on that path. But yesterday, I had a conversation with one of those doctors, and she blew me away. She had actually called me about something else, because one of the clinics, the clinic that I go to here has got people coming through there, people who are continuing to misgender me, which I'm having to deal with. People who are curious about my transition but don't understand that I am there for care. I'm not there to train doctors and nurses, not in an uncontrolled fashion. But this training of interns, the diversity training that these two doctors do, started 5 years ago. I didn't know it had been going on that long. But they decided to bring in a transgender person to actually speak to these interns before they started their, during their first trimester of training at the VA, to try to catch them in the beginning and let them carry that on into their internship and their residency and becoming doctors. They may or may not end up being doctors in this city. They may take this nationwide. Whoever comes in to be trained has to go through this. Well, I don't know if they have to go through this. They may be people who are volunteering to go through this, which in my opinion and her opinion, it should be mandatory. They are going to run into transgender veterans, and every doctor who has the potential of running into us needs to be trained for diversity training. But these two black women are just, I was so proud of them that they started something like this. And so I was talking to her about something else, and then I happened to mention this training that I did on August 22nd with them. And I told her that I was really proud of her, proud of those two ladies for taking this on, because there was those two, myself, and 4 interns that were there that day. And the pride it gave me that, it's no secret, maybe it is a secret, that there is a lot of racism in the military. There's a lot of racism going on with veterans coming out of the military. And just for them to stand up for our experience, be veterans, cisgender or transgender, is just a statement to me of who these ladies are and what they are willing to do for us when they don't have to. It is not mandated that, even though the VA provides HRT to veterans, if you have a certain amount of disability through the VA, they provide your hormones. Otherwise, you got to pay for them just like anybody else. But so I told her that I was proud of them, and she quickly interrupted me to tell me how proud she was of me, that I completely blew everybody away, that they had to process the things that I said, and that I took their training from a training to an experience. I mean, I let it all hang out. I don't even remember everything that I say when I speak in front of people, because I have, since I was 26 years old, something happens to me while I'm speaking in front of multiple people where my consciousness kind of steps aside, and then whatever it is that I'm supposed to say, I say, and I don't remember what I say. So she very powerfully, very lovingly reminded me of some of the things that I said to those interns. And she told me that, halfway through my story and halfway through my segment of the training, that it brought tears to her eyes. And I did not see that because I was focused. I took a seat, and instead of just talking to them from where I was sitting, which was off to the side, I took my seat, put it dead center in front of them, and sat there and spoke to them and looked at them eye to eye while I was telling them my story of being transgender, of being a black transgender veteran, of being the son of a celebrity in this country, a real life celebrity, not any of this fake stuff that's going on. But my father is ultra famous, and I grew up in a life where I was constantly battling, being pushed into the background because I did not know, well, my family didn't know, and I didn't know to stick up for myself as being his son. To this day, he's really having a hard time embracing that. But all of the things that I grumbled about, that I pouted about, all of the things that I wanted to be with my father never came to be. And I guess that came across to these interns of what it was really, the struggles I really had being a transgender child, not having a word for it, not having language around it, not being able to have a conversation about it, but just basically internalizing the rejection of being a transgender boy when I was young, let alone being a transgender man now that I am an elder. Uh, and just, I have had a tough year, people, and especially the end of this year. And her, she made everything that I'm going through worth it, because that's all I ever wanted to do. That's all I've ever wanted to do in life, is to make a difference, even if that difference is in a controlled environment or if it's in an uncontrolled environment like social media. I also write for Medium, and a few other publications under that umbrella. And so I am doing a lot of things. Not only do I mentor and father many people, I post many things to wake up the consciousness of people. I've got this business that I'm trying to get sustainable. I've got a lot of things going on right now. And I was feeling discouraged about all of it because I didn't think, and I still don't think, I'm getting through to people. And I've got an out of control, God complex employee of Facebook that keeps messing with my account and halting my efforts and costing me money, really, because when they're flagging posts that I'm pulling off of YouTube, my videos, they're posting them as spam. They're flagging them as spam. They're doing a whole lot of things to disrupt anything that I do. They won't give me access to my data. They won't allow me to change my email account. I mean, there is so much going on around some freaking out of control employee on that platform that I even put a post in Zuckerberg's account, of which one other gentleman from some other country also jumped in and said, yeah, they're messing with my account too. But see, they don't care. He is so far removed. He's like the president of this nation, being so fucking far removed from the people that he's hurting. Well, the same with the CEO of Facebook, is the same kind of deal. He really doesn't care what's going on with the users of the platform that is making that man a billionaire. He could care less about us, which I find extremely interesting. That he doesn't, because without us, we're not paying, without the advertising that they're doing on that platform and the amount of people who are buying things through that platform, that is how the executives and the employees make their money. So without us, they don't have an income. If it was just the businesses by themselves on that platform without us buying goods and services through that platform, they wouldn't be making any money. But they're not treating the users like the gold that we are. And they're not watching what their employees are doing on that platform. So these things that this doctor said to me, the fact that she acknowledged that I was, that my speaking was very powerful, um, and that those interns will never forget me uh, because of the impact I had that day. She said that it took them at least an hour to process everything that I had said, and that the fact that it kicked their training into an experience um, was something that I lived for. Um, she got me, unlike many of my fans, followers, family, friends. Um, she truly got me in a way that even the intimate partner I had refused to get me in that way. So she made everything that I've been going through for the last few years worth it. And I literally had a lump in my throat. I had goosebumps. Um, and I felt my mother through what that lady was saying to me. I know my mom is in heaven right now, proud as shit about me. Even if nobody else in my family is, my mom, I know, is up there smiling down on me. And this lady connected me to her in a way that she'll never get. I'm going to send her an email to try to thank her for the boost to my ego that she did. I don't think she intended to do that, but she does not know what I'm going through right now and how much I needed to be acknowledged, to be respected, to be honored in that way, and that she can't wait for me to get the next wave of interns coming through the VA. Um, they go by a semester system, so all of those interns that I spoke to that day, they're still being trained. And then the beginning of next year will come a new wave of interns, and they want me, as long as I'm around, to participate in that diversity training that they do, to bring awareness to racial issues, to transgender, well, black issues, transgender issues, and I don't know what else that program entails, but you know, people, I chat and talk with a lot of people, and the ones that are closed off do not receive the blessing that God has given me, the gifts that God has given me, the ability to reach people who want to be reached. It happens in an instant for me, but those that are closed off, they never experience that side of me. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. People don't tell me stuff. But that lady told me how I made them feel. And for that, I'm just I'm just thrilled to be a part of the solutions in this country. You know, how many people do you see on a daily basis complain about things and how things are, but they aren't doing anything about how things are? Well, I learned a long time ago that if you're not living in the solutions of what's going on in your life or in this country, you are part of the problem. Not doing anything is as bad as explicitly doing bad things to the history of this nation and the people in it. This is the most diverse country in the world. So if you aren't living in the solution and all you're doing on social media is complaining, and that's all you're doing, then you're part of the problem. And I live my life to be part of the solution in my own personal life and in the community and in the country and in the world. That is the gift that God woke up in me in 2016 and told me, head that way. And despite what a lot of people think, because I do say quite a bit that I am not religious, I am very spiritual. I am very plugged into God, and I am very obedient to my God. When he taps me on the shoulder and I can tell his voice and his energy over and beyond my own personal energy. When he says jump, I say how high. And I have been doing that since I was 26 years old. I did not get clean and sober with a God. I was agnostic. I did not know what to think or what to believe. And quite frankly, in the beginning, the word God bothered me a lot. I thought, oh no, is this some kind of a religious cult? I had a whole bunch of sick thoughts in the beginning. But again, God touched me in the only way that he could have touched me, which was through my life. He kept performing miracles in my life. He kept making his presence known in my life, through my life, not by going to church, not by reading anything that was spiritual, not by doing anything other than touching me in the things that were important to me, to let me know he was working in my life, and that all of the years prior to that he was carrying me. And through various things that have happened to me throughout my life, he's also carried me as well. You know, I've been homeless twice in my life, and he carried me through all of that. He carried me through a 14-year depression. He carried me into my transition. I had a dream in 2003 that told me something was going to happen, but I didn't understand the dream at the time. Wherein in the dream, I was both man and woman in the same dream. As the man, I was a leader, and I led over 40,000 people across 3 states to their version of prosperity. Not necessarily financially, but whatever prosperity meant to them, I, as the leader of these people, led them on foot across 3 or 4 states in the middle of the country. And then myself, as a woman, was the follower of myself as the man, the leader. And I was in the back of the crowd, pushing the crowd forward and telling them to listen to me, the man. It was a very intense, bizarre dream. I have since written it down. I have shared it with very, very people who are very close to me, because there's a heck of a lot more to it than I'm saying right now. But what that doctor did for me yesterday just literally pulled me up and put me where I really am, instead of me being discouraged and depressed about that my life isn't the way that I want it to look right now. But I'm getting there. It's gonna happen, and I just have to keep trudging the road to happy destiny. I'm a happy guy anyway. And so it's just only periods of time where I'm not, I'm either plateauing or I get down about things. But then I just pick it up and start moving back forward and higher again. But I was making a point about people who miss out on the gift that I am. And I'm not saying that in an ego sense. I'm not saying that to stroke my own ego. But I know I have a gift. And those who are receptive to that gift get to see it. And that is why God plunked the nickname the pollinator in my head. I pollinate people, and it doesn't matter to me whether they're in my life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I touch them, and then I keep it moving. Just like a bee does to flowers, I do to people. Hundreds, thousands of people. But he only enhanced that gift in 2016, when I realized the other half of that dream, and that I am a leader. I just have to figure out the most effective and efficient way to move people to the tune of which I did in that dream. Little did I know that was only a symbolic dream of how I would actually touch a lot of people at the same time. I had no idea that back then the internet would be part of that solution, but it is, and it's how I'm touching thousands of people. I have no idea how many I touch because of the fact that I'm doing videos, I'm writing, I make a lot of posts. I'm involved in several social media platforms, not just freaking Fuckerbook. Um, but so I'm spreading myself all over the place and have no idea who I'm touching and who I'm not touching. But see, that doesn't matter to me. Eventually, some people come back and tell me, yeah, you've moved and touched me, which also happened after I spoke with that doctor yesterday. Is a very dear friend of mine on that platform told me that yes, I had that ability, I had that gift, that I have moved her, that I have made her cry, and I have made her think. I didn't know that. I never know any of this stuff unless people, happen to tell me. But I also don't live I don't live to get a pat on the back for what I do. What I do gives me life. And so I don't really care if it gives somebody else life or not. What I have been finding out over the last few decades is that it most definitely does. I've had people that I got clean and sober with come back and tell me decades later or years later that something I said 10 years ago, 20 years ago touched them and saved their life. And I never quite know what to say when they tell me that, because I don't even remember what I said unless they tell me what specifically I said that made them turn a corner in their life. See, this stuff is starting to try to move me again, but if there's lots of pollen and people's minds are open, I end up sticking around and continue to pollinate them as long as they want me to. Some people, I just turn them out. I turn them off. I do what I do, and then I shut that door real quick, because these people aren't ready to embrace the things that I am telling them. They want to fight about it, or they want to start abusing me about it, and then I just cut them off. But again, that's because they were in my life for a reason, and I was in their life for a reason, and I don't stop to think about why, what, when, where, because I'm constantly moving. So it really doesn't matter on a higher level why any of that happened. I just have to make sure to protect my heart, and to protect my energy, and to protect my gifts, and to protect things to the point where it doesn't drain me and pull me down. So my training with the VA is part of that. My helping to train these interns is part of that, and it gave me life, and it gave them life, and it gave them something that they never even expected. I guess they thought I was gonna come in scripted, but I didn't. I just came in, sat down, and started talking, and I didn't have a script. She had asked me for a bio that I forgot she asked me for. And so that day when I showed up, I told her, I'm sorry, I don't have a bio, so I'm going to have to introduce myself. And she told me yesterday that was perfect. She said nothing I could have read about you would have expressed so powerfully what you ended up saying about yourself to these interns and to us. We saw something that we didn't, and my doctor even saw something she had never, my ex-doctor, therapist, saw something she never saw about me. And just through me talking, and she was my therapist for 2 years, 2.5 years or something like that. And I knew she would see a different side of me than she saw in therapy, because, I went to therapy with all my problems. I didn't go there really talking. I didn't go there speaking, the way I spoke to those interns. Our relationship was much more intimate, and she did not get to see how I am in the world, but she got to see how I am in the world that day. And excuse me, but I'm looking down every once in a while because I did make some notes, and I blew them up really big so I could see them. I blew the typing up. So, just the fact that when she was talking to me, I was smiling from ear to ear. And it has been, I made another video saying that this transition has been the best thing that happened to me, and it's been the worst thing that's happened to me. But I don't say that like a victim. I say that like life is full of ups and downs, and you either learn to roll with the punches or you let them punches roll over you. And I am determined not to let anything roll over me or, run me down, run me over, because I want to learn what it meant, what anything that happens to me means in a positive sense, or in a sense that's not gonna, I don't want to get into the positive thinking stuff because that's not necessarily relevant. But if I can learn from an experience, if I can walk away from it a little bit better, if I can get a little bit better perspective and something different about myself in the matter, then I have succeeded. It doesn't take positive thinking. I can be in a really fucking bad mood and learn something about an interaction or some external circumstance that happened to me that day. So I'm always thinking. I'm a critical thinker. I'm a critically thinking black man, and which the world is afraid of people like us. They attack me on social media all the time, and I let that go on for a little bit, and then I cut them off. It's like, you know what? If you got a problem with me like that, you need to look at yourself. I'm not sticking around to teach you necessarily, you that want to argue and fight and act like an idiot around me. I'm not there to help you get out of that. I will pollinate you positively or negatively and move on. I don't care whether or not you get it. I don't care whether or not you get me. But the fact that so many people do get me helps me not feel so alone. Helps me realize that God has a plan and He's implementing that plan perfectly. It helps me when when I feel like the rug has gotten pulled out from under me. It helps me understand that the rug may look like it's pulled out from under me, but God is under me. He will catch me when I jump off the ledge, which I do frequently, by choice. I jump off into things that are risky to do, including my freaking proposal to somebody who did not really deserve that proposal. I risked it all for her, and she did not appreciate that, and she did not risk back. And you know what? That's not a judgment call. That's just where she was. She was too afraid. And I do not live. Everybody has fears, but how many people are stopped by their fears? I come from a place where you take your fear by the hand. You take it by the hand. You take the afraid little boy or little girl or little other by the hand, and you go do what you have to do. I live by another, what do they call them, quote or whatever, that you do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. And so in this evolution of my life that I've taken on, that is a far cry different than the corporate career that I had and the career that I had as a software consultant. This is a whole new level. So yeah, every day I have to take my fears about that. I have to take my not feeling good enough about that and go get good enough. See, it's not enough for me to say I'm not good enough at something. That just means to me, go get good enough. Go learn what you need to learn to succeed with this. No matter how many times you fall down, get back up and learn what it's going to take to get over that particular task, that particular goal, that particular whatever. You know, you just don't quit, and you just keep trying, and you just keep getting up, and you keep going for it. You keep learning. And if you don't know something, you go learn it. In this day and age, there's no excuse whatsoever to be ignorant about anything. There's too much information out there on the internet that you can plug into and you can tune into in order to learn how to change every aspect of your life, including yourself. Way too much information out there. If people would just get out of denial about how they're being. See, once you own that, you can do something about that. If you don't own it, and it's always everybody else's fault that you behave this way, that you feel this way, that you do this thing, that you don't do that thing, if it's always external circumstances is the reason why, then you don't own it. Without owning it, you have no power in the matter. You can't change anything that you don't own. You'll have no power to change anything. You'll just run around feeling like a victim of whatever comes down the pike. And, you know, for more reasons than not, that is why I'll let somebody go. If they're stuck in victim and they just stuck there, they can have that. I'm not going to take it from them. If I see that they're clutching to that for their life, they can have that. Maybe their whole life's purpose is to learn how to let that go, to stop living their life that way. But it's not up to me personally to get them to turn any kind of corner. I don't care. I just drop the information and keep on buzzing to another flower. So I'm going to end with, you know, she made my year. She made my last 2 years. That doctor, of the things that she said to me, and then my friend coming along behind and saying something similar, just made everything worth it. There is down on this corner, you'll see it's not very bright because I couldn't make it very big, but a way to subscribe to my channel. And if you also click the bell, you'll get notifications when I do uploads. If you like anything that I'm talking about, make sure to hit that like button. If you don't like what I'm talking about, I don't care, hit the other one. But again, my happiness is dependent on my knowledge of self and my relationship with God, with the God of my understanding. That is where all of my energy comes from. That is where all of my light comes from. Yes, people can jerk me here, there, everywhere, but my basic happiness is on me, to build and to grow and to evolve and to make happen. So everybody, I'm really excited about what's going to happen tonight. You know, we may have something remarkable happen in the history of this nation. The turnout of voters across the country has been the most since Obama was in office. But I've also heard that it's the most ever that people have come out because of all the efforts of a lot of activists and advocates and organizations and nonprofits out there. People are turning out to vote. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen tonight, especially in my state. We've got a very exciting woman running for governor, and I hope she gets elected tonight. So everybody have a blessed rest of their day, rest of their week. And, the last thing I want to say is a reason why I don't do lives very much, not on this platform and not on Fuckerbook, is because I can't see. I can't see the comments rolling by, and they would just, I don't know. I don't want them people to own my crap, because they keep messing with me. And so, I primarily make videos on YouTube, and I don't make them live because I have to be able to see the comments to interact with people. I'd love to do that. I may elect, as a big maybe, elect to have cataract surgery, which would correct the vision in both of my eyes. But after what I've experienced with just this one eye, I told them they're going to have to freaking knock me out and drag my ass to surgery to do this. I don't want to go through 90 days of this again with the other eye. So I have an appointment with my surgeon at the end of this month, and we'll talk about what's next. But anyway, peace out.